Eric, thank you. Inspiring as always. I'm going to move on and introduce Marina Prentoulis. Marina is, sorry? Prentoulis, I do apologise.
It's fine.
Prentoulis. Marina is here representing Syriza. She's a senior lecturer at the University of East Anglia. Syriza is, of course, the elder sibling, really, in the parties that we've been talking about. It was founded as long ago as 2004, so it's very much our older brother or sister. They were the largest party in the general election in 2012 and refused to join an austerity coalition, which was absolutely right. And in the European elections, again, the largest single party in Greece, they got 26.7% of the vote. So they are there. They are standing for the people in Greece who have taken the brunt more than anywhere else of the austerity measures, and they are providing a voice to the voiceless. So please welcome Marina.
Thank you very much, and thank Left Unity for inviting me. I would start by talking a little bit about the situation in Greece, and then at the end some things that we have to do if we want to have different politics. So the crisis in Greece started in 2010 for us, quite unexpectedly. Nobody in Greece was expecting the crisis. So when, in 2010, the previous Prime Minister, George Papandreou, announced that we are going to be under the lending mechanisms, it was a shock, a huge shock for everybody. Nobody believed that we will have a big problem with the crisis because we thought, well, we are a small country. We are not a big economy. Another thing for us, it was that we don't have very much personal debt as you have in Britain. So at least the older generation, they don't have the huge mortgages that we have here. So we thought, yeah, okay, I mean, we are going to survive. But that wasn't the story. So in 2010, we learned that we are going to be under the memoranda, the lending agreement, and a huge austerity is going to be imposed on Greece. An austerity that it was supposed to be the medicine for us. But as we know, for every country, this being Spain, this being Britain, this being France, this being Greece, it didn't work. Instead of being the medicine, it was the poison. And as the Greek people were saying, I've been talking to a lot of people because I was taking interviews and I was talking with different groups in Greece. What they were saying is they want to kill us all. This is the perception that we have. This is what austerity was about. That's how we feel in Greece. They want us all dead. This is what everybody was saying. So at that point, we started with 120% of debt in comparison to the GDP, and now our debt is 175. It's not working very well. But there are other things that are happening at the same time. They cut the pensions, they cut the wages up to 40%. All collective agreements, employment rights that we had fought to have, they are all collapsing. Now they are thinking of the zero-hour contracts. It seems that the establishment is learning from other establishments across Europe. Now we have the zero-hour contracts as well. They reduced the minimum wage. We have a huge unemployment. It's 27% and 60% among the young people. So yes, it's true. They want us all dead. So the economic crisis, it wasn't only an economic crisis, it became a crisis of political representation, it became a political crisis. And in this political crisis, what happened is that the ties that they were connecting to some level, the people with the two traditional parties, they started to be loosened. So at that point, three different things happened, and I'm going to talk about them. The first, as Eduardo was saying, was the equivalent of the indignados. This was the aganaktismeni in Greece. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in all different squares in Greece, mainly gathering in front of Syntagma Square and demanding a change or the collapse of the whole political establishment. Now, this wasn't a unified group of people. There were very different people there for very different reasons. There was the shopkeeper who was indignant because he didn't have enough customers. There was the mother who was indignant because, well, she didn't know what the future for her child will hold. But of course, there was also the indignant fascist who thought that the problem for all this is the immigrants around him. So all these people gathered at Syntagma Square, and they made what we now call, as with the Spanish, the movement of the squares. It was very fragmented. A lot of people after that, they turned to the Golden Dawn, the Nazi party that we have in Greece. But there was also a feeling of togetherness. Something happened there. People started to question the establishment. They started to question politics as we know it. And some of them, later on, they were the electoral power that Syriza has today. Syriza was there, but it wasn't with its identity. We were there, but we didn't carry our banners. There were no banners, no different organizations. Of course, this cannot be said for everybody on the left. There were parties in Greece on the left that they didn't want to participate. They didn't understand what was happening in this movement. They thought it's naive, it doesn't express our traditional leftist ideas. They didn't go down with, they didn't connect with the people, but Syriza did. And then the second thing happened in 2012, which is Syriza, a very small coalition of 12 different leftist organizations, from a party of something like 4.5%. In the elections in 2012, it got 27%. Now we are over 30%. Now we are going to be the next government of Greece. We are going to be the next government of Greece, but at the same time it will be a huge victory for the left across Europe and across the world, I think. In this respect, we share quite a lot with Left Unity. We were different organizations that they came together and they formed this new party. Of course, the people who voted for Syriza, they are not all on the left or not in the traditional sense. It is, as I said, because the traditional affiliations, people stopped to believe in the mainstream parties and they turned to Syriza. They turned to Syriza because at that point Syriza was expressing, and it is expressing, the anti-neoliberal position that it was felt in the squares. They turned to Syriza because Syriza, although it was a party, it was there with this very fragmented and diverse movement in the squares. And this is how Syriza, and we hope the same will happen with Left Unity, it turned from something 4.5% to something that is going to be over 30%, and the new government, as I said. Now there is another thing that happened. This is after the elections, and it's going on. And I have comrades here that they just came from Greece and they met these people. It's what we call the solidarity networks. Now, what is a solidarity network? We moved from indignation in the squares to trying to deal on a very local level, in every neighborhood, with the humanitarian crisis that we had to face. So simple people, and people from the left, and people from Syriza, and people from other organizations, without their party identity, if you want, without going out and preaching to people, they came together on a very local basis, 10 people in one neighborhood, 50 in another, and they start to form these solidarity networks. They create social clinics, for example. They have totally destroyed every provision that we had in terms of healthcare. So what the people do? They get together. There are plenty of empty houses right now in Greece. Sometimes they go and they ask, can we have this house? And there are people, and they say, yeah, we will give it to you. They take these houses, they invite doctors in, volunteers, that for some days a week they are there to see the people, and especially to see those that they don't have any national security, the immigrants, all this, that they are going to be, and they are the ones that they are suffering even more than everybody else in Greece. Solidarity networks are creating wholesale markets. They go around and they find producers. They bring producers together with consumers in these wholesale markets, and they start to rethink what it means to have a just price for certain products. So they do a lot of other things as well. They offer psychological support. They create groups for unemployed people. That they try to find there some support, to feel that there is somebody next to them. They can listen, we can fight together. In one of these solidarity groups that I was, somebody told me, you know what, one day I took my car and I tried to leave, and as I was leaving, I heard a noise. So I stopped, I went out, people ran around. It was a girl, 25-year-old. She had jumped from the 4th floor. There is high suicide rates in Greece. We never had these suicide rates in Greece. They want us all dead, one way or the other. So these solidarity networks, they are very important for us. For us is what is still left on the ground, how we organize, how the people organize. Syriza, our comrades, our friends are there, but other people go there, and they learn from solidarity. It's not charity. It has nothing to do with that. When I was talking to people, they were saying, this is how we are going to create the new movement. We do things together. We fight the humanitarian crisis, and this is not